Allison Taylor has lived in Manhattan for 3 years now. That's long enough to know that the odds are stacked against finding a taxi at the rainy tail end of rush hour, especially here, a stone's throw from the Bryant Park tents in the midst of Fashion Week. Yet she perches beneath the soggy umbrella on the curb at the corner of 42nd and 5th, searching the sea of oncoming yellow cabs, hoping to find an on-duty, unoccupied dome light. Unlikely, yes. But impossible? The word is overused in her opinion. If she weren't the kind of woman who stubbornly challenges anything others might deem impossible, then she wouldn't be here in New York in the first place. How many people back in her tiny Midwestern hometown told her it would be impossible for a girl like her to merely survive the big, cruel city, let alone succeed in the glamorous, cutthroat fashion publishing industry? A girl like her, impoverished, from a broken home with a suicidal drug addict for a mother, a girl who never had a chance, but took one anyway. And just look at me now. After putting herself through the Art Institute of Pittsburgh and working her way from an unpaid post-college internship at Condé Nast on up through the editorial ranks at 7th Avenue magazine, Allison finally loves her life. Cab shortages, rainy days, and all. Sometimes she allows herself to fantasize about going back to Centerfield to show them all how wrong they were. The neighbors, the teachers, the pursed-lipped church ladies, the mean girls at school and their meaner mothers, everyone who ever looked at her with scorn or even pity, everyone who ever whispered behind her back. They didn't understand about Mom, about how much she loved Allison, how hard she tried, when she wasn't high, to be a good mother. Only the one girl Allison considered a true friend, her next-door neighbor Tammy Connolly, seemed to understand. She, too, had a single mom for whom the townspeople had disdain. Tammy's mother was a brassy blonde whose skirts were too short, whose perfume was too strong, whose voice was too loud. Tammy had her own cross to bear, as the church ladies would say. Everyone did. Mom was Allison's, hers alone, and she dealt with it pretty much single-handedly until the day it ceased to exist. But going back to Centerfield, even to have the last laugh would mean facing memories, and who needs those? "Memories are good for nothing," Mom used to say after Allison's father left them. "It's better to just forget about all the things you can't change." True, but Mom couldn't seem to change what was happening to them in the present, or what the future might hold. "Weakness is my weakness," Brenda once told a drug counselor. Allison overheard, and those pathetic words made her furious, even then. Now Mom, too, is in the past. Yes, always better to forget. Anyway, even if Allison wanted to revisit Centerfield, the town is truly the middle of nowhere, a good 30 miles from the nearest dive motel, and at least 3 or 4 times as far from any semi-decent hotel. Sometimes, though, she pictures herself doing it, flying to Omaha, renting a car, driving out across miles of nothing to more nothing. Her one friend, Tammy, moved away long before Mom died 7 years ago, and of course, Dad had left years before that when she was 9. Allison remembers the morning she woke up and went running to the kitchen to tell her mother that she dreamed she had a sister. She was certain it meant that her mom was going to have another baby. But that couldn't have been farther from the truth. In the kitchen, she found the note her father had left. "Can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. Goodbye." God only knows where he wound up. Allison's only sibling, her half-brother Brett, wanted to find him for her sake after Mom died. "Well, if you do, I don't want to hear about it. I never want to hear his name again," she said when her brother brought it up at the funeral. It was the same thing her mother had told her after her father left. Mom considered Allison's deadbeat dad good for nothing, just like memories.